Yo, what is good, y'all? It's your boy Top, back here with another video. In this video today, I have an idea that is going to absolutely blow your mind. Every buyable player in NBA 2K20, so that doesn't include any of the rewards, Steph Curry, any of the offline modes, nothing like this. Just if you were strictly to go on the basically all auctionable players, what would it cost to have every single auctionable player in NBA 2K20? But the auctionable players do include this set, so I'm including what it would cost, to get Draymond Green. So obviously if you have every one of these cards, you're going to be able to get Dennis Rodman. Now you don't have to lock in the set, but what would it cost to have each of these players? Dominique Wilkins, Manu Ginobili, all these playoff dimer sets, as well as all of the current NBA players. I'm going to tell you guys, so you guys are aware, if you want every single player in the game, how much it would cost. Or if you have every single player in the game, how much MT could you get for every single player? That's what we're going to be going over today. It's an absolutely crazy video, so make sure you watch the end. If you are new to the channel and have not yet, please smash the subscribe button as you're on the road to 35,000 subscribers, and let's get right into it. I've already done all the math. I've done it all, but we're just going to go over kind of each and every one of these things. For the 76ers, I came up with the 25,000 number. Bucks ended up being a little up there because of Giannis, around 40,000. The Bulls, Cavs, Celtics, any players that doesn't really have a Ruby, Amethyst, anything or above, it's going to be that 20,000 mark. So the Bulls, 20,000, Cavs, 20,000, Celtics, 20,000. The Heat are a little up there because they're still in the playoffs, obviously, and so some of their players go for a little bit more. The Heat are actually at 25,000. Hornets, 20,000. Knicks, 20,000. Magic, 20,000. The Nets are up there because KD obviously goes for something as well. The Nets were 35,000. And the Pacers, Pistons, Raptors, and Wizards all ended up at 20,000 to complete every single one of these sets. Now, take that plus or minus a little bit, because who knows if the Pacers, you could maybe get it for 17, but I just rounded up to that 20,000 mark. So for the complete Eastern Conference, to complete the 76ers, Bucks, Bulls, all of these teams, get 15 out of 15 on all of these sets, and lock them in if you wanted to for the 10 tokens, it would cost you 340,000 KMT, 340,000 worth of MT to complete all of the Eastern Conference. That's crazy to think about, even though each of these sets, 20,000 here, 20,000 there, you might not think it's a ton, but it does add up over time. And then we scroll down to the Western Conference. We go over to the Western Conference, in which the Clippers are up there at 35K. The Grizzlies, the Western Conference is basically the same thing. The Grizzlies, Jazz, Kings are all at 20,000. Then we get to the Lakers, where if you look at the Lakers, AD is 35, 40K. LeBron is 35, 40K. So the Lakers is up there. I put the Lakers at 90K. You can do plus or minus. It depends a little bit. But a lot of the Lakers players are going to be up there because of the XP challenges right now as well. Mavs, 20K, 20K, 20K. The Rockets, I had up around 30K because Harden is obviously worth 15K alone. So I had them upwards of 30K. They might be a little bit more than that, but that's just where I had them at. Then we look at the Spurs, 20K. Suns, 20K. I had the Thunder at 20K. Timberwolves, 20K. Trailblazers were at 20K as well, with the Warriors being a little up there. And I had the Warriors in at 45,000 MT. So just kind of my quick math. I did look through each of the sets a little bit. And if they don't have any Ruby or above players, it's probably going to be that 20K mark. But for the entire Western Conference, it came in at 420,000 MT just to get the Western Conference done. So if you want all these tokens, let's say you locked in all these sets. Let's say you already did it, because I know a lot of people have locked in both Eastern and Western Conference sets. If you've locked in all these sets, you've locked up 765,000 worth of MT that you will never get back. And you want to know how many tokens you got? You want to know how many tokens you got for all this? You got 300 tokens. And let me tell you, I can get 300 tokens in one game or one day at Triple Threat Online. So you locked up 765,000 worth of MT. That's just kind of where you're at right now. If you wanted to complete all these sets and get those 300 tokens, you're locking up 765,000 worth of MT. Absolutely not worth it, but a lot of people have done it, and that's where we're at right now. Now that's nothing compared to the next thing we'll get into. So starter packs, obviously there's nothing there. Buyable, promo packs, same thing. Free agents, nothing there. Then we get into the season tip-off, East and West. Larry Bird, he's not that. Listen, even Larry Bird goes for 100K. So off rips, you got Larry Bird going for 99, 100K. Then you got Allen Houston around 50K. Then you got Derrick Rose. Also, way up there in price, around 60K. Richard Jefferson's 25K. So you got so many of these expensive players. I went through each and every one of the season tip-off East players, and it ended up being 275,000 MT. 275,000 MT just for the season tip-off East set. 275. Then we go over to the season tip-off West, where you got Hakeem, who is a 98K. Mitch Richmond, 25K. Then you got Sean Marion, 20K here. And there's just so many players that go for that 20K margin. Then you got Karl Malone, another amethyst, going for upwards of 20K. All these players, even if you look at like a Mike Bibby, you might think he's cheap. Mike Bibby's not even cheap by himself. So you got all these players that eventually, I did the math, all these players added up to 225,000 MT. So you got 225,000 here in the season tip-off West. You got 275,000 in the season tip-off East, adding to a total of 500,000 MT just in the season tip-off East and season tip-off West. That's insane to think about. You have 500,000 in there, plus already what we've gone over in the current NBA. You're looking at upwards of $1 million already, but way over $1 million. We're not done yet. Let's go on the playoff stoppers, which this is one of the toughest sets to figure out how much it goes for, because there's only 2 Ben Wallace's up. Ben Wallace could go for 120,000. He could also go for 300,000. It depends how much people are willing to spend XP on. For me, I put Ben Wallace around 160K because I wanted to be pretty conservative. Now, I'll probably go for more than that, but I wanted to be pretty conservative on that. And then, you got Dennis Johnson, who's 20K. Doug Christie, I might have put him at 180. I don't know exactly, but I came to the math. Doug Christie's over 20K. Dennis Johnson's over 20K. Bill Walton's 5K. Tony Allen's 5K. The playoff stoppers alone, lock in for Gary Payton, is 240,000 MT. 240,000 just for these playoff stoppers sets. It's absolutely ridiculous how much you have to pay for each of these sets. And this one might even be more, because if you want Ben Wallace, you might have to be willing to pay a lot more than that 100K price tag. So like I said, a lot of that depends on Ben Wallace. Then we move on to the clutch set, which has Jason Kidd, who is 80,000. Then you got Michael Jordan. This is the set that honestly surprised me the most for how much it goes for. Michael Jordan, 90K. Kobe Bryant, 100K. It honestly amazed me to look through all these players and be like, wow. Kareem goes for 50K. Like, all these players have value in the game still, and it's absolutely amazing to me. All these players are locked in for Jerry West. I did the math on all of these clutch players. You are looking at 360 MT. Now, just in Jason Kidd, MJ, Kobe, and Kareem, you're looking at a good majority of that. A lot of these cheap players don't really go for that much, but even a Ray Allen and a guy like Rip Hamilton, they go for something. So all in all, the clutch set did end up around 360,000 MT. So just with the clutch set and the playoff stopper set, you're looking at 600,000 MT just in those 2 sets alone. So you might be asking, what do we got so far, Ty? You've gone through this so fast. What do we got so far? So you add up the clutch and playoff stopper sets together, you get 600K MT. Then you add the season tip-off East and West, you're now at 1.1 mil. And then if we do remember, the Western and Eastern Conference sets combined at 760,000 MT. So you're wondering, how much MT is that total? Yes, 1,865,000 MT. You heard that right. 1,865,000 XP for basically all sets that we've gotten a month ago. We haven't, these aren't even any of the new sets. These are just sets we've got over a month ago, and we're already talking about a huge price tag on those sets. So yeah, almost 2 million MT just so far. We're not even close to being done. So that's where we're at so far. Then we move on to the back-to-back sets with Isaiah Thomas, who goes for right around that 90K price tag. Maybe a little bit cheaper if you can get him for cheaper. Right now, there's none cheaper. Lamar Odom's kind of that same thing with Ben Wallace. There's not a lot of Lamar up. Plus, he has a lot of XP. There's an XP challenge. It's easy enough to do with Lamar Odom, so that's why a lot of people want him. Bailey Howe also is up there, 25K. Kenny Smith, add another 10K there, and then Iggy is close to 5K. So I did all the math there, and you are looking at 265,000 XP just with the One Will Rise back-to-back sets. Now this just depends on what you can get Lamar Odom for, but I clocked him in right around 265,000 XP with the back-to-back sets. The idols, this one was a little interesting because I didn't know exactly how to break it down. So I did player by player. Dominique Wilkins, I clocked in right at that 200,000 mark. Now, you might be able to get him cheaper, might be able to get him, he might cost you a little bit more. It just depends on which Dominique you do end up getting. So I clocked him in at right around that 200K mark. Manu Ginobili is another tough one. You know, I clocked him in for 130 because I just saw one right before this go for 140. It was badged out. But I clocked Manu in at 130 because I think his value is going to remain high for those idols sets. So he comes in at 130. Then you look at the idols VIP, in which a guy like Darren Williams is going to go for around that 90K mark. You got a guy like Giannis, who you know Giannis is going to be, he's going to have a price tag every single time. Now, I clocked Giannis in at more expensive than 143 because I've seen a lot of people pay 200K for a Giannis that isn't even badged out. There's just a lot in this time slot, and so that's why you're seeing Giannis here go for 143, whatever it is. But I personally clocked in it Giannis at upwards of 150,000 MT. Alonzo Mourning, I clocked in at 70,000 MT. Paul George, he's 100K off rips. You might even have to pay more for a Paul George. I've clocked him in at 100. I clocked in Giannis at 170, 180. So those even out. Depends on what they sell for their specific time. Willis Reed's about 10K. Really, the rest after Paul George, excluding Porzingis. So like Willis Reed, Scola, Cooper, Eric Gordon, and Patty Mills, all those combined are about 40K. Porzingis alone goes for 55,000 MT. So if you're wanting all of these players, all of the prime players alone, you're going to look at a big time price tag. A big time price tag, that being 865,000 MT if you want all of these players. And really for me, I just put Manu up, but I have Dominique, or I don't have Dominique. I'm going to get Dominique Wilkins. I had Manu, he's up on the auction house, but I have most of these players. And so, a lot of my MT is right here with the Idols VIP. So where we're at now, you take the back-to-back set, which was 265,000. Add that up with all the Idols players, which added up to be 865,000. Just take that, and you're looking at 1.13 million. Take that 1.13 million, take that 1.13 number, add it to the 1.865 number we had, and so far, not including Playoff Diamonds Flash or Playoff Underdogs, you're already looking at 2.9 million, almost 3 million, just in what we have so far. Absolutely crazy to think that just in, not even including the Flash sets or Playoff Underdogs or any of the rewards, just in auctionable players, we have 3 million just locked away already if you want every single player in the game. Absolutely incredible to think about. And just the MT that you have to lock up for these sets, for these players, it's absolutely astonishing. Let's move into Playoff Diamonds, which is a set that's very interesting because it is for Draymond Green. Take Steve Nash, over 100K. Chris Webber, looking at 200K here with Chris Webber. Sleepy Floyd, he goes for a decent amount. You're looking at 30K with Sleepy, Robert Reed, Doc Rivers. All in all, this set is going to be about 340,000 XP, or 340,000 MT for this Playoff Diamonds set. So, that's a pretty good price tag as well. Then you add that to the Flash set, in which you got Brandon Roy, upwards of 100K. Kevin Durant, who can go for probably 150. He can go from anywhere from 120 to 150K. And you add that with Boris Diaw and Brian Scalabrine, you're looking near 300K when you take all these guys. And then you add John Stockton in there. And hey, man, don't send it to the auctions. Don't quick sell. You add John Stockton in there, you're easily looking at 400K just with the Flash and Flash glitch player. So Playoff Dimers and the Flash, you're looking at 740,000 MT. Then the most recent set, one of the cheapest sets we have out right now, Dikembe Mutombo, 110. Kyrie Irving, you're not going to find him cheap. 140 probably is what you're going to have to spend on Kyrie. Mashburn, Steven Jackson, and Tyson Chandler all add up as well. Honestly, I gave a decent price on the Playoff Underdogs. I listed it at 290,000 because Kyrie Irving can get pricey. I saw one of him, at upwards of 170, plus Jamal Mashburn's 20K on his own. Steven Jackson is still valuable, as well as Tyson Chandler. So you're looking at 290,000 for this Playoff Underdog set. So take the Dimers, the Flash, plus Playoff Underdogs. What does it cost just to complete 3 sets? Just 3, just 3 sets. You're looking at over $1 million. 1,030,000 MT is what it would cost just to complete those sets. So, what is the final number looking like? The final number to have every auctionable player in the game is 4,025,000 4,000 MT. Over 4 million MT is what it costs to have every single auctionable player in the game. Guys, the game's been out for a month, and it already costs 4 million MT to have every single player in the game. That is absolutely astonishing to me. I play this game a ton. I have a decent amount of MT, and I've badged out a lot of my players. But 4 million MT to have every single player in the game seems crazy to me. I don't know if it's pack odds. I don't know what has to change. I don't know if they need to put super packs in the game. But 4 million MT is just absolutely ridiculous for being 1 month into the game. Alright guys, that is going to wrap it up for the video today on how much MT it would cost to achieve every single player, every single auctionable player within NBA 2K21. That doesn't even include trying to get Stephen Curry or anything like that, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Drop a like on the video. Comment your thoughts on this 4 million to have every player in the game down below, guys. As always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.